United Nations Terms of Use. Skip to main navigation. Skip to content. Welcome to the United Nations. It's your world. Unsearch. English. Francais. Espanol. United Nations Terms of Use. Unquestioned mark. Home, peace and security, development, human rights, humanitarian affairs, international law. Your United Nations Secretary General on at a glance on charter structure and organization. Member states on information centers. Documents. Frequently asked questions. Main bodies: General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council, Trusteeship Council, International Court of Justice, Secretariat. The Unmanned Civil Society, Business Partnerships, Global Compact Partnerships, Rule of Law, Sustainability, Cyber School, Booze. Terms and conditions of use of United Nations websites. Disclaimers. Vertical line. Preservation of immunities. Vertical line. General. The use of this website constitutes agreement with the following terms and conditions. A. The United Nations maintains this website, the site, as a courtesy to those who may choose to access the site users. The information presented herein is for informative purposes only. The United Nations grants permission to users to visit the site and to download and copy the information, documents and materials collectively. Materials from the site for the user's personal, non-commercial use, without any right to resell or redistribute them or to compile or create derivative works therefrom, subject to the terms and conditions outlined below, and also subject to more specific restrictions that may apply to specific material within this site. B. The United Nations administers this site. All material on this site from the United Nations appears subject to the present terms and conditions. C. Unless expressly stated otherwise, the findings, interpretations and conclusions expressed in the materials on this site are those of the various United Nations staff members, consultants and advisors to the United Nations Secretariat who prepared the work and do not necessarily represent the views of the United Nations or its member states. Disclaimers. Materials provided on this site are provided as is without warranty of any kind, either express or implied, including, without limitation, warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose and non-infringement. The United Nations specifically does not make any warranties or representations as to the accuracy or completeness of any such materials. The United Nations periodically adds, changes, improves or updates the materials on this site without notice. Under no circumstances shall the United Nations be liable for any loss, damage, liability or expense incurred or suffered that is claimed to have resulted from the use of this site, including, without limitation, any fault, error, omission, interruption or delay with respect thereto. The use of this site is at the user's sole risk. Under no circumstances, including but not limited to negligence, shall the United Nations or its affiliates be liable for any direct, indirect, incidental, special or consequential damages, even if the United Nations has been advised of the possibility of such damages. The user specifically acknowledges and agrees that the United Nations is not liable for any conduct of any user. This site may contain advice, opinions and statements of various information providers. The United Nations does not represent or endorse the accuracy or reliability of any advice, opinion, statement or other information provided by any information provider, any user of this site or any other person or entity. Reliance upon any such advice, opinion, statement, or other information shall also be at the user's own risk. Neither the United Nations nor its affiliates, nor any of their respective agents, employees, information providers or content providers, shall be liable to any user or anyone else for any inaccuracy, error, omission, interruption, deletion, defect, alteration of or use of any content herein, or for its timeliness or completeness. Nor shall they be liable for any failure of performance, computer virus or communication line failure, regardless of cause, or for any damages resulting therefrom. As a condition of use of this site, the user agrees to indemnify the United Nations and its affiliates from and against any and all actions, claims, losses, damages, liabilities and expenses including reasonable attorney's fees arising out of the user's use of this site, including, without limitation, any claims alleging facts that if true would constitute a breach by the user of these terms and conditions. If the user is dissatisfied with any material on this site or with any of its terms and conditions of use, the user's sole and exclusive remedy is to discontinue using the site. This site may contain links and references to third-party websites,